Hello. In this video we will discuss the very common scenario of when a patient does not require anything from you that month. Sometimes you can spend your allotted 1 hour a week just talking and gaining a relationship with your patient, as discussed previously. However, if the patient is busy that month, don't worry. You can still help him out. This will be done by researching for the patient so that when you talk to them you will have helpful tips and hints on what to give them. Let's go through this step by step. Firstly, you need the patient's area and diagnosis code. For purposes of this video, I will choose Helen Mackay, who lives in 1222 13th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11210. Helen McCoy is unfortunately suffering from diagnosis code G20. Of course, this basic information I found on Helen's Asana card, which is assigned to me on my board. Firstly, I may not even know what G20 is. I will open up Google, which for research purposes, is your best friend. And I will search G20 by writing it into the search bar. G20 ICD-10 code. It comes up with Parkinson's disease. I may spend some time reading a bit about the diagnosis and what it does to people. I may learn that Parkinson's is a pretty harsh disease that can affect people's motor skills, speech and the like. I may Google symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Remember to never copy and paste into your notes in Asana. If I want, I can summarize this information in my own words using the regular template. Now I am at the point of trying to figure out how I can help the patient in their area. So I will once again open up Google, and at this point I will write Parkinson's Foundations. I may also choose Parkinson's organizations. Foundations and organizations are always helpful to understand and get support for diagnoses. Wow, look at that. After clicking around, I find a guide for the newly diagnosed. That certainly might be helpful for me to work with my patient. Perhaps I spend 1 hour on this information. Now I may text my patient or call them and leave them a voicemail that I have some valuable information that may help them if they'd like to chat. Perhaps they are still busy this week. No problem. Next week, I can continue compiling some helpful things for them. I may now decide to try to do research on a speech therapist for my patient. This is because I know Parkinson's often affects speech later on. This way, when I speak to my patient, I will have a lot of information ready to present to her for what may help her. First, I will go to medassistusa.com and navigate to the preferred provider section of the website. I will now choose the state my patient is located in. In this case, my patient is located in New York. Now I will choose the type of provider I am looking for. For this patient, I am looking for a speech therapist. This is the best way to help my patient, because these providers I already know accept Medicare, and other care managers have liked their service and therefore they are on this list. Hey, look, on this page I see that Yelena Merkina provides speech in Brooklyn, New York. When I click on the card, it opens up to more information. I can see comments that other care managers have left. I can see the number and address. Let me call them now and get more information specifically for my patient. Now I will ask them. 1. Do you take my patient's insurance? Medicare or their secondary insurance? If you don't know the patient's secondary insurance, you can ask your lead care manager or Nicole how to get this information. 2. What times are you open? 3. Do you have any references of people who liked your service? 4. Do you have virtual services or do you go to the patient's home? 5. If my patient wants to set up an appointment with you, what do you need from them? 6. How quickly can my patient start working with you? The more information you can gather, the better. Once you are done with this research, you can do the same thing with other, different places. There are endless amounts of ways to help your patient if you know how to research properly. Remember to always notate properly by not copying and pasting. You need to write out what you actually did and the information on the place you are researching. For an example, look at this note in Asana for what I just completed. Notice that I will never copy and paste but rather use the template we've discussed multiple times. This is a simple template. You just need to write what goal you are working on and what you accomplished while working. Another important part of researching is looking at the doctor's recommendations and the care plan to see what I can research for this patient. Let's take a look at test patient B. Let's look at the doctor's recommendations. I see here it says continued visiting nurse. I may then follow the same steps as above, such as looking at my preferred provider page for a visiting nurse agency in the patient's area. Or Googling visiting nurse agencies. I will then call the places and see how it can best help my patient by asking the questions we discussed already. I may also look at the care plan for clues on how to best research for my patient. With patient Mary Soul, I see that when I look into her care plan, she does need bifocals as well as assistance with meals. I will research using the above methods. First, preferred providers. Secondly, Google. Of course, you may have questions as you research. That is what your manager is here for. Always feel free to ask your direct manager any questions about this. Thanks for watching.